My ex-husband and I have been separated for a year and will more than likely be starting the divorce process any day now. Ever since we split up, my ex has hired a nanny to help him with childcare of our 2 kids during his time. The nanny usually does pickups and drop-offs. Originally, I would try to communicate things about the kids directly to him, but I could barely get in touch with him. He always made some excuse about how work was busy, but I feel like he should at least respond to my emails about the kids quickly, and that it was his responsibility to make sure the nanny had the relevant information too. Eventually, I got fed up with having to hound him every single time he needed information about the kids, and since the nanny does almost all of the childcare when they're with their dad, I decided to just communicate with her directly. I do still update my ex too, but now I only send him 1 email and it's up to him to make the effort to read and respond to it. This has worked really well for the kids and they seem to be doing a lot better during their time with their dad now since the nanny makes the necessary adjustments for them. It was my ex-mother-in-law's birthday and she asked me to bring the kids because my ex wasn't sure if he'd be able to go. I still have a good relationship with my ex-in-laws and I didn't want my kids to miss out on time with their family, so I agreed. My ex ended up showing up towards the end of the day. I haven't had to see my ex face to face in a very long time, and he's always known how to push my buttons. I was trying to be civil to him for the kids' sake, but he kept baiting me when no one else was in earshot. My mother-in-law made a comment about how she was so proud of us for being able to co-parent so well after everything. My ex had whispered a sly comment to me. He asked me if I wanted to go make another baby upstairs, not 2 minutes before my mother-in-law made her comment, so I was already quietly fuming. So I responded with, "Yes, I really enjoy co-parenting with the nanny. She's fantastic." My ex and his family weren't amused, and I received a lot of backlash from all of them. My ex accused me of calling him a deadbeat and said he didn't want me talking to his nanny anymore because I should be communicating directly with him. Am I the idiot? Oof, that one hit your target perfectly. You are not the idiot. You didn't call him an awful dad. You made a joke about how often you talk to the nanny. You also complimented him on finding a great nanny. I'm sorry, but when he's not making an effort to communicate with you to coordinate around the kids and makes every excuse in the book to make himself unavailable, then you have every right to say what you said. He's offended because he didn't think you'd call him out in front of his family and probably painted a picture that he's doing a much better job than he's doing. You are not the idiot. His parents didn't know the truth and still don't know everything. He refuses to communicate with OP about their kids. He's a deadbeat dad. Just because they visit him doesn't mean anything. He's not taking care of them when he's home. I bet the nanny makes dinner and cleans too. His sly comment was a nasty thing to say and I understand how it made you frustrated. Nevertheless, making a dig at his parenting in public was still incredibly petty, and you lost any semblance of the moral high ground when you snapped at his mother, who had done nothing wrong and had no context having not heard his comments to you. On her birthday, no less. You made yourself look childish and bitter. If you want to maintain a relationship with your children's grandparents, which you should, then you need to at very least apologise to your ex-mother-in-law. You're all idiots here. Not the idiot, but I'm a little afraid that you may have cost that poor nanny her job. I hope your ex isn't the petty vindictive type. Since he can't directly take anything out on you anymore, she might be the one that suffers for it. This one seems a bit obvious, but most people who know about the situation have called me an idiot for it, and now I'm really not sure. I'm nearly adult and I have type 1 diabetes. I always keep a can of Coke or Fanta in my bag in case I go low sugar in school. I have a student teacher for French, who I don't think has been made aware of the situation, but I've told him enough times. I use a Dexcom and Slim pump. The teacher has taken my phone off me for checking my sugars at least 3 times, and seems to think I'm lying. This morning in his class, I had really bad hypoglycemia, so I didn't really have the time to leave the room to deal with it like I normally would. I do also have permission from the school to just take out a can with no pre-warning or eat something. It's worth noting, I don't like people touching my food or anything I'm going to drink out of. It's just a personal thing. The teacher came down to my desk, grabbed my can by the rim and put it down on the ground beside my desk. I told him I do actually need it, showed him the reading and picked it back up. He repeated what he'd already done, then said something about it being illegal for a minor to have a caffeinated drink. I raised my voice a bit and said, "Sir, I would really appreciate it if you don't touch something I'm trying to drink out of. It's really not professional or polite." He sent me to the principal's office and the principal said she sorted out for me. But like I said, a lot of the class who witnessed it called me an idiot. So, am I? You are not the idiot. The fact that he picked up the can from the top is frustrating and unsanitary. The bigger problem is that he's trying to stop you from dealing with a medical event, both by taking the drink from you and by potentially making the rim dirty so you couldn't or shouldn't drink it. The principal said he would sort it out. Make sure you tell your parents and have them follow up to ask the principal how it was handled. You are not wrong. I admittedly probably would have been more snarky about it. It's illegal for kids to have this. Are you willing to bet my life on that? You were polite and this dude needs a reality check. I'm sorry you've had to deal with this. Your health must come first, always. You are not the idiot. This is unhygienic and he deliberately disregarded your medical requirement. Your sugar level is low, so low and, as you know, OP, legitimately dangerous if left untreated. It's the school's responsibility to make sure that their teachers are aware of the acuity of students' health conditions and what may need to be done in emergencies. So it's concerning that your French teacher thinks he can just decide you don't need something because he personally doesn't think you should have it. Your wording was concise and accurate. I personally think you weren't being disrespectful and the way you reacted was understandable, especially considering the mental and emotional effects that a hypoglycemia can have. You are not the idiot. Your classmates are upset you made things awkward, and they're likely jealous of you being able to use your phone and drink in class. That does not make what you did or said wrong. The teacher basically stated his ego was more important than your life. I've only had my hair professionally done one time in my life. I know the snarky response is, yeah, and everyone can tell, or something like that. I learned to do my hair as a teen. I'm 36 and struggling, have 4 roommates to help pay rent, and just don't have the extra money for luxuries outside getting a bottle of $3 chuck every other paycheck. Sure, I wish my life was great, getting my hair done and nails with the girls sipping $8 cocktails, but that's not the lot I was given, so be it. Kathy married into my family and she does hair for a living. Last time at a family get-together, she zeroed in on me and made a joke like, "Time for a haircut?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I need to trim the ends soon." She gasped dramatically and put her hand on her chest and was like, "You need to? Oh sweetie, that's what I'm here for. Let's get you in, okay?" I shook my head no and said no thanks, I cut my own hair. She looked appalled and said, "Honey, it's okay, I'll be gentle." I just said no thanks again and went on with the gathering. My cousin announced that Kathy's happy to cut hair for us at a discounted rate and that we need to support one another. Kathy just looked at me and smiled knowingly. I was annoyed but just ignored it until like a week later, my cousin texted me to ask if I was interested in using Kathy's services and that she had some openings this weekend. I said no thanks. He pushed the issue saying, "Come on, support a family member who's had a rough year with the shutdowns." I just responded, "It's out of my budget." He responded with, "Wow, okay, I guess it's too much to ask you to support us." I wrote back, "I have $15 to last me until my next paycheck. Are you going to support me?" And then waited 10 seconds and sent, "Didn't think so." Mom called me later and said that Kathy was just trying to help me break out of a rut and was trying to be helpful, and that getting my hair done in a new way might be empowering for me. Then she said that maybe I can adjust my budget and drop a few things to make room to support someone in the family going through a hard time. I asked her bluntly why no one in the family has ever pushed everyone around to help me, and she got quiet and said, "Oh sweetie," and hung up. Am I the idiot? Absolutely not the idiot. If Kathy wanted to empower you, she would do it for free. If she really wanted to be nice and offer a haircut, she would do it for free. You will never be idiot for being broke and not wanting to frivolously spend money. Absolutely you are not the idiot. What is wrong with your mom that she doesn't even listen to your financial condition? It's presumptuous of her to suggest that you rearrange your budget to support your cousins-in-law. What are you supposed to give up? Food? Power? Water? Gas for car, etc.? Not the idiot. Kathy isn't doing this out of the kindness of her heart. She's hustling you for money because you're a captive audience since you're family. I guess your cousin thought that it's easier to guilt and pressure family members than friends because you can't stop being family with someone. If she were about to do your hair for free, then this would be a different story, but it's out of your budget and they're being extremely pushy, which is irritating. Stand your ground. What on earth? You are not the idiot. Even if you did have the cash, why should you have to pay if you can and want to do it yourself? I don't understand the weird peer pressure, especially from your mom. Don't justify if they keep pushing you. Just say no and leave it at that. By giving a reason, you're telling them there's an opening to get a yes. You don't owe anyone your money. Your family is off the wall. Also, kudos to you. I wish I could cut my own hair, but every time I've tried, I look like I got attacked by a lawnmower and lost. Don't let anyone shame you for having a useful skill. In November, my dad left my mum after 34 years of marriage. However, the night he left, he ate the food that my mum had stood and cooked for him, then handed her a letter on a piece of scrap paper, which was dated and photocopied for his own records, in which he explained that he was in another relationship and had been for 2.5 years. The lady he's moved in with was a family friend who was at my parents' wedding and who he worked with. She was also married and her son was the year below me at school. We live in a village, so it's the talk of the town. My mum had absolutely no idea and has brought us up almost single-handedly due to his inherited chauvinism. Yeah, older religious background, sons before daughters and such. Imagine Henry VIII with less charisma and no crown. My mum was a saint to put up with it all. My dad is shockingly bad at technology and asked last year how to Google. The day after he left, I remembered he had a password book and logged into his social media. Because of my need for answers, I've seen images of my dad that no daughter should see, and I've read a particular message where the woman says, "That's why we've been together for 20 years, babe." I'm 26 and I've realised that I obviously don't actually know my father. Anyway, he's now being very difficult with the divorce proceedings as every penny of their joint wealth is in his name, as women can't be trusted with money. My nana, 84, cannot see wrong in her firstborn son, my dad, and every time he's mentioned, it ends up causing friction, particularly between my nana and sister, who is very opinionated. I am usually the glue that holds the personalities together, but both my sister and I have made up our minds and want nothing to do with him. Unfortunately, I had to tell her that if she continues to bring him up, I will have to stop contacting her due to my own need to heal. I'm in a long-term relationship, and she mentioned him being at our potential future wedding. I told her that if I ever got married, my father wouldn't be invited, never mind be allowed to walk me down the aisle. Because of her strong religious worldview, she cried. I want a relationship with her, but she's struggling to respect my boundaries, much like my father, who has been constantly bombarding me with nasty WhatsApps. I feel so guilty. Should I just swallow my pride? Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Because of her strong religious worldview, she should be ashamed of your father and standing by his wife, your mother. He has no place in a wedding if he doesn't hold the values symbolized by marriage. I agree. Seems to me he lied because OP found a message that says he and the side piece have been together 20 years. So he started an affair after 14 years of marriage. He should have been an adult and ended his marriage instead of having an affair. Block your dad and give your nana one last time to respect your boundary, but make it clear what the consequences are. Nana, I am not discussing dad, and if you bring him up, this will be our last conversation. Stop being the glue. You don't deserve the mental anguish. It's always the religious ones, the pious saint-like people doing the absolute most to be the worst. You are not the idiot, and I would make your mom's lawyer aware of the 20 years message. Make copies of everything before he deletes them. I agree. Please screenshot those messages and anything else you can find to help your mother in the divorce. If she spends her life raising you, she'll have minimal job opportunities and probably no savings. If you don't want to spend the next few decades watching her struggle to feed herself, try your best to not let your cheating father screw her over, as I can't imagine he'll happily split 50-50. My 24 male parents recently bought a fire pit and they've redecorated part of our backyard to now include a little porch, and it's something of a hangout area in our backyard. Last night was the first official night that it was finished, and me, my parents, and my sister were planning on just sitting out there with some food and hanging out. My parents ordered out from Panera Bread and we were all set, but then my sister comes along and asks if she can invite one of her friends to join us. As soon as she asked that, I had a sneaking suspicion of who she wanted to ask, and my fears were confirmed. It was my ex-girlfriend. Me and my ex broke up 5 or 6 years ago, and we haven't spoken since. During our relationship, my ex and my sister were good friends, and they stopped seeing each other once we broke up, but their friendship has rekindled. They've been hanging out more often since this past fall, and it's made me a paranoid wreck ever since. I've been constantly worrying about their renewed friendship and what it could mean for me. This would be the first night that me and my ex actually see each other since the breakup. The 5 of us all sat by the fire last night just eating our food and talking, but I was mostly silent and just trying to avoid eye contact with my ex. Then my dad asked me how I was doing lately, and I responded with, "I'm good. Life tends to get better when you cut the nasty people out of your life." I said it to my dad, but I made sure to make eye contact with my ex when I said it to ensure that she knew who that comment was intended for. Then my ex had her turn. She looked at my sister, but then started making comments about horrible people who won't let the past die. This went on for a bit. Me and my ex would take turns indirectly talking to each other by means of pretending to talk to someone else in the group, but obviously intending for our comments to be aimed at one another. My mom eventually called us out for it and told us that the night was going to be cut short if we didn't cut it out. Then my ex started trying to directly talk to me for the first time, but I just crossed my arms and looked the other way. I kept giving her the silent treatment until she reached across and took one of my chips, and that's when I let loose. I started screaming at her to go away and never come near our house again. Then she started screaming at me about wanting to be friends, and then my parents stepped in. My mom said, "You're both idiots," and she sent my ex home and sent me to my room, and my sister had to rub it in and accuse me of ruining the night. She said that the whole fight was my fault and that she invited my ex over so that we can talk about at least being friends. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot. You're a 24-year-old and your mommy had to send you to your room? Enough said. You were one step away from doing the "will you tell ex I said while the ex is in the room" thing. Maybe learn to say no to your sister or learn to behave like an adult in uncomfortable situations. It's possible to be polite to someone you dislike instead of behaving like a child who needs a timeout. You are such an idiot. You are all idiots here. Ugh. I would have just continued ignoring her, and your sister shouldn't invite over someone that makes you grind your teeth. Your ex sucks too. The reason I consider you a bit less of an idiot than the others is that 1. Your sister knows you don't like your ex and is acting as your ex's flying monkey, and 2. Your ex should respect that you don't want to be friends and not act creepily to get you back. Why was there a breakup? Did she cheat on you? One day when we were at a local water park, she'd once again accused me of staring at other girls and she threw her drink in my face. I responded by smashing my pizza in her face and we both had to be escorted out by security. That was the last time that we ever spoke, until now. Sounds about right. You both suck. The difference is, while that breakup is still cringeworthy, at least they were, 18 or less? Now it's near mid-20s, and no change. I'm going with everyone is wrong here. Your sister was an idiot for inviting her. It would be one thing if it was her birthday party or a family event or her wedding or something more than family dinner and hangout time. I can't help but think she wanted drama for fun. But yeah, it's been 5 or 6 years. You gotta move on.